Already.
Hello and welcome to episode 7 of The Frozen North, your source for the best that story-focused gaming has to offer. My name is JJ and I'm here alongside my two co-hosts.
Oh, whoa! My name is Mark. Yes.
You, Mark. And my name is Brian. I'm not quite as surprised as Mark, but... But Mark, you really threw that curveball right at Mark, and Mark just...
I even warned him.
I know. He was not... Whoa! Hey, guys.
He's like, I get to say my own name this time.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
Oh, man. Welcome to The Frozen North. This is episode 7. We're a little giddy because we just got done doing episode 6. We're doing a twofer today.
Yeah, it's a double cast. It's a dual cast.
If this is your first time listening to us, we are a podcast that just focuses on video games that rely heavily on story. We do top 5 lists and basically just tell you what we think of games, try to give you light reviews so you can decide to play them on your own. Try to be spoiler free, but
generally,
you know,
we'll say like spoiler or something, but if we just want to talk about it, we're going to talk about it,
you tell them, Brian.
Yeah,
You
internet.
tell them.
We won't spoil it unless we want to.
Right.
Basically, is what it comes down to.
Like if it's a newer game, we'll try to spoil it, but if it's like 10 years old, you're on your own, buddy.
Bam. Normally we would start out with talking about what we've been playing for the past week, but since we literally just did that, an hour ago, we're going to go ahead and talk about what we're going to be playing.
Oh man, I can't wait to tell you.
Another curveball.
I will be playing. I just got the new Grand Theft Auto game.
This is Grand Theft Auto 5.
Nice.
Yep.
I heard its sales are doing terribly.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
In the first
3 days.
over 1 billion.
Yes.
Insane.
It was on the news last night.
Absolutely insane.
Forbes magazine.
They were talking about how in the entertainment industry, it took Avatar, which was like the highest grossing in Harry Potter, I believe, past that.
Yep.
It took them 19 days.
Yep.
To hit the mark that Grand Theft Auto 5 hit in 3 days.
Insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll also be playing Kingdom Hearts HD.
Hey.
So, and I'm going to try to finish up the original Star Ocean as
Very
well.
cool.
So, yep, that's me. Mark?
Nice. I'm going to continue to play Grand Theft Auto 5.
Excellent.
And I'm thinking about playing Deus Ex for whatever reason.
You really just had
That's
to throw
it.
that in there, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh, man.
I'm actually going to be playing Final Fantasy 14. I'm going to be, obviously off and on that one. I'm going to be playing actually Kingdom Hearts HD as well. So JJ and I will be both playing that and probably holding hands at the same time. How are we going to be playing a game and holding hands at the same time?
You're on my PS3 friends list.
We are friends. And then also, I'm going to actually start a game on my PlayStation Vita that is actually a Vita game.
Those exist?
Yes.
I thought they were as elusive as Wii U games.
I thought about actually playing another virtual console game like Final Fantasy 2 or something, but I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to play a Vita game.
Continuing your journey, episode 7 now?
Yeah, well, I'm playing Final Fantasy 14. That counts.
You said you were playing it in order.
Yeah.
Wasn't that like May?
I don't...
June.
Or June. It was June. That's right.
I don't listen to myself.
Yeah, come on. It wasn't that long ago.
I don't ever listen to myself. I just count it, put it on the board.
For those of you listening, he just made a motion with his finger that he marked on a board.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just... Okay.
Count it.
All right. So I didn't mention that, but I'll be playing Final Fantasy 14 as well. I'm very close to max level, and oh man, fights in that game are so epic.
Awesome.
It's great.
They're fun.
All right, we're gonna review one game. I have not played it. Brian has not played it, but Mark has.
Yes.
The new one just came out. Saints Row. Is it just called Saints Row 4?
It's just 4.
But Mark is going to be reviewing Saints Row the Third, which is the prior one to that, developed by THQ. We'll go ahead and do our leeway into that. Brian, give me a noise that reflects the fact that you have not played Saints Row the Third. That's I couldn't have said it better myself.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, all right, Mark, talk about your pros, man.
Okay. Well, I decided to do Saints Row the Third because I'm too much of a cheapskate to buy the fourth one.
That a boy.
And I hadn't beaten the third one yet.
Christmas, it'll be on sale anyway.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, the Christmas sale. It's
I believe you're referring
very-
to the Steam Winter Sale.
sorry,
Okay,
the
come on.
Steam non-denominational
Wait,
winter sale.
I don't mean to derail this review, but you guys hear that Valve is making 3 announcements this week?
Yeah.
3
We won't be breaking any of them.
3 announcements. Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Yes.
Man, I wish I would have played one of the others.
You are just so behind, man.
Get out of here. You know what?
Our
My
fearless-
review is going to be all about why you should play Half-Life and why you failed because you haven't.
Yeah. Life failure.
The first
Pretty sure
Pro,
I fail a lot more because of, like, for other reasons too.
No,
Maybe.
Half-Life is the only reason.
that's the main reason.
Yeah, it's it.
All right. Well, thanks.
No, my favorite part about Saints Row the Third is that you haven't played Half-Life yet.
I've played the first 20 minutes or so.
That is not even... What?
So you got on the tram.
Anybody else just catch
listen
how
to-
high his voice went?
I think it can go higher.
I believe Mark is feeling the same way about this
That was
Half-Life
impressive.
conundrum.
All right. So
All right. Saints Row the
Saints
Third.
Row the Third.
Right. No, it's a really good game. It's a completely different approach to the open world, car stealing, crime doing, open world game compared to like Grand Theft Auto.
Car stealing and crime doing.
Car stealing and crime
You
doing.
got to do those crimes, man.
Right.
Okay.
It's completely comical. It's not trying to be realistic at all in any way. The game starts out with some character gets killed at the very beginning of the game, and you become this new guy that rises up in the Saints as you enter Steelport, a new, larger city. That still pales in comparison to the Grand Theft Auto series, but it's a pretty big city. The plot is awesome. Doesn't take itself serious, but isn't snarky the way that Grand Theft Auto is.
Right.
Sorry that I keep comparing it to Grand Theft Auto.
well, I mean,
It's the
there's
elephant
really.
in the room.
I would
So,
say that's probably the
It's
best.
a
thing.
Grand Theft Auto clone.
Yeah, I would
So-
say it's
Right.
the best thing to compare to.
I think it found the things that it didn't need to copy and decided to go its own way with those things.
No, I would think more people have played Grand Theft Auto anyway. So,
Right.
why wouldn't you compare it to that? I wouldn't compare it to the new one
Right.
because I mean the new one's. I mean, I haven't played Saints Row the Third, but I would imagine the new one probably blows it out of the water.
Probably.
Yeah.
It does a little bit, depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Scope.
Right.
Yeah.
In terms of just like basic quality, Grand Theft Auto has it beat, but the missions are a lot fun. A lot more fun.
They are a lot of
They
fun.
are.
Right.
They are a lot fun. You tell me fun.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun,
All right.
Nice.
and they're more fun. And any other phrase that would make sense. No, it's a lot of fun. The upgrade
Hey,
system.
hey, Mark, is it fun?
I have a feeling this game's fun.
That's. I don't know what to say, man. The
That's
only thing I
cool,
can do is
hey.
compare it to GTA.
I just want to make sure that everybody is aware that we are totally sober right now. Seriously,
Yeah.
Right.
like
Yeah.
that's not even sarcasm.
Yeah,
we are.
no,
we're
we're
just
literally sober as a what is it? The animal they sober as a what? Like a bird?
a guy who hasn't drank. anything
What is the
today.
saying? They always say, "I'm sober like a bird" or something like that. I don't know.
I don't think,
I
anybody
don't think
says
I've heard
I'm
that
sober
ever.
like a bird.
No, I'm going to go back to the game, since that's what we're trying to get through.
I'm going to start saying that now, though.
You take over gigantic skyscrapers and basically run the city. And,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, you get VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing, jets, hovercraft, bikes that fly through the air, laser guns. You get to go to Mars
Oh, that's cool.
at the end of the game.
Interesting.
You destroy an aircraft carrier.
Spoiler.
They're all spoilers, but it doesn't matter. I won't tell you why.
Okay.
And I like the way you can customize vehicles, take them back to your garage, and then you have them forever. You don't have to worry about wrecking them later. You don't have to, like in previous GTA games where you get a good car and you just leave it in your garage forever because you don't want to ruin it,
Yeah.
which is completely counterintuitive to.
I never
fun
did
in
that.
the
I
game.
I drove everything till I
Yeah,
wrecked
everything
it.
was destroyed.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So I'll just say it like for the 17th time. This game is completely focused on making sure you're having fun and not taking any time out to be realistic in any way.
Okay.
Very cool.
Oh, and I should add that Burt Reynolds is the mayor,
Really cool.
literally.
I would
Nice.
vote for him.
All right.
On the con side, the side missions, like the little random things you get to do, aren't fun at all. So they forgot to be fun
Are they
when
repetitive?
they did that. And they're repetitive. And it's just, a little bit shallow, comparatively speaking. So that's my sloppy terrible review of
I liked
Saints
it, man.
Row the Third. If you're looking for the exact opposite of GTA, but yet still a game where you steal cars and do crimes, I do recommend it.
Excellent.
Nice. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and move into our top 5 for this week. We are talking about our top 5 gaming consoles. You know what? I'll do a noise.
I was gonna. If you were gonna say Mark, I was gonna. JJ, why don't you make the noise this time, buddy?
I'm gonna make a
Stop
noise.
putting me on the spot.
JJ, make a noise that reflects the sound of a video game console being smashed into a wall. That just reflects it. Maybe like a feeling you'll have, or
Crash.
that is. Yeah.
Beep beep. That's trying to turn it back
There we go.
on.
There you go.
Oh, and then you got to get the because you're blowing in
yeah,
the
you're
disc.
blowing in the disc. Yeah.
Trying to get that back.
Blowing
on.
on you're blowing on the
The
compact
cartridge.
disc. I was gonna say, who blows on
Yeah,
a
thank you.
compact
Thank you
disc?
for bringing that up.
Those old cartridges where it's like, well, there were so many fixes for that
Oh
stuff.
my
Well,
goodness.
I say that loosely.
Yeah,
fixes.
fixes.
You had the
Put
special
it in the
thing you'd buy
freezer.
that you would run through both sides.
Yep, with the alcohol.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had that. Yep. All right. Top 5 gaming console. I swear, one of these days we're going to get some sort of sound effect to actually do this stuff.
Yeah.
I
But in
know
the
it's
meantime, we'll just
goofy.
continually make up our own.
Yes,
budget.
because it's
budget.
so professional.
Yeah.
And
We're professional.
all right,
All right, JJ,
absolutely.
what's your number 5?
my
console?
number 5? Oddly enough, is the same as your number 5.
Let's just talk about it together then.
The Nintendo 64.
Oh, the 64. What grandiose and lofty dreams you had, and actually you got it.
I don't know that Nintendo has had an impact on me personally as far as like the scope and the, I guess, just downright incredibleness that the Nintendo 64, the revolutionary aspect of it.
Yeah.
That since, I mean, the Wii was revolutionary with the motion controls and all that junk, but I mean, like, you talk about like the open world Mario game, Mario 64 when that came out, Zelda, Ocarina of Time. I mean, these things were
98.
amazing when they first came out.
I remember when the 64 wasn't even out yet, but they were advertising it, and I went to Best Buy, and you could play it.
Yep.
And just the fact that you could take Mario and swim and triple jump,
I thought it sucked when I first
I
played
thought
it
it was
at
the
Best
most
Buy.
amazing thing I have ever seen in the entire world.
Let me tell you why I thought it sucked.
Okay, come on.
I was used to the Super Nintendo,
Right.
and I was used to using the crosshair.
Gotcha. You were used
So
to the
I
D-pad.
was playing Mario 64, which is what they had
Did
set
you
up
really
as their
just call,
demo.
Can I back up? Did you really just call the D-pad a crosshair?
Yes, I did. It's a cross, and
It's a D-pad.
You're a D-pad.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But I was trying to control Mario with the D-pad,
You weren't used to joystick. Yeah.
and I didn't even know. Like, I just thought the joystick. I didn't even notice it, to be
You thought
honest.
that was
with
for
you.
your nose,
I'm
where
sitting
you
here and I'm like holding it like the controller, like on both sides. I didn't know you're supposed to have one underneath and
Right.
all that stuff. And Mario wouldn't move. I could jump, and that was about it. And I just kept moving the camera because that's all it did. And I was like, "This sucks. Who was going to play this stupid game?" And
It's
then
just
I
a
saw
camera game, yeah.
I saw the Dreamcast next to it, and they had Nights into Dreams demoed. And I was like, "This is awesome. I want a freaking Dreamcast." Never got a Dreamcast. Played it a few times, and I think it's a cool system. I absolutely loved it. But eventually, my cousin got a Nintendo 64, and he showed me how to play it, and I was like, "Oh,
Joystick,
man!"
Yeah.
And oh man, I fell in love. It
was a great system.
was. I mean, Mario 64 alone, when that sucker first
Yeah.
came out, unbelievable. It was great.
Just the fact that that's our number 5, so we got
Yep.
some more coming.
Absolutely. So, Mark, number 5.
Oh, my number 5 is the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Very cool.
This was the first console I ever owned. I think I got it like 5 years after it came out. It was almost time for the Super Nintendo to come out at that point, but I was behind the times. Played some of my favorite and most memorable video games at that time. Chrysalis, if you're familiar with Chrysalis.
You know what's
It's-
funny? Brian, you're going to like this. Mark, I watched your brother play it.
Hey,
There you go.
All right.
It was, I'm not sure it came out before Zelda, but it was kind of like a Zelda game.
Yep.
Where it's got an overworld, you go into dungeons, you have a sword, you run around on a 2D top-down view. It was awesome. Doesn't stand up to time. Don't play it.
Right.
but it was
the
awesome.
80s. It was
Trust
an
me.
80s console.
Then obviously you had Mario.
Right.
You had Blaster Master, which I hope one of you guys has played.
Oh, of course.
Nope.
Mega Man.
Mega Man.
Obviously,
and
yeah.
obviously Zelda, which
Yeah.
is the
For sure.
quintessential.
Well, who
game
could
on that
forget
system.
Duck Hunt?
Oh,
Duck
God.
Hunt was good.
Being able
yeah.
to aim
the
a gun at
dual
your
cartridge,
TV.
Duck Hunt Mario. Oh,
And that was cool.
You would try to like everybody would cheat and like put the gun right up on
the
their
TV.
screen.
Who didn't do that?
And well,
It actually
I
didn't work
tried
that
not
well.
to
Oh my
for a while.
God.
I didn't because I was like I want to show how good my aim is.
And its calibration was not very good.
9 times out of 10, it would end up with me wanting to shoot the freaking dog in the face. Oh, I hated that guy. You just sit there and laugh at you. Oh, terrible.
Yes, it's one of my favorite systems.
It almost made
It was
my
always.
list.
I liked that you could walk into your friend's house and know what his favorite game is because it was burned into his screen.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. True enough.
Yeah.
So that's my number 5.
JJ, number 4.
Number 4. My number 4 is the only portable system on my list.
Excellent.
Nintendo 3DS.
I need to get one.
You know what? I love it. I'm not a fan of portable gaming at all. I basically just buy the systems for exclusives, or if I'm going to be out of town for a while and I want to play something that I can, put on there. Like I have my PSP and I've got my PlayStation ID set up on there so I can play all the old Final Fantasies and stuff that I've downloaded. But the 3DS, I mean, to be honest, I couldn't care less about the 3D aspect of it. Whatever. But the games themselves that are on it they're great. I love Pokemon, obviously, because I mentioned that a couple episodes ago, and I like how they're doing a lot of remakes and putting them on the portable systems because it's nice to have some of those on the go. It's just it's an all around good system. The whole Street Pass tag
Yep.
thing
That's
is fun, and it's not amazing, but it's a cool time killer, and it's cool to walk around and then get home and see that somebody else near you had a 3DS and their information got imported to yours. So
I think I'm going to buy it before Pokemon X and Y come out. And
you need to get Y because I've already
going
got
X?
I've got X reserved already.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll get
and
Y then.
We'll review that.
Okay, sounds good.
So yep, that's my number 4, Nintendo 3DS.
Nice. My number 4 is also a portable system. It is the original Game Boy.
Nice.
I didn't put any of the more recent portable games on my list because as an adult who works 3 jobs and wants to spend all this time at home playing real games,
Sure, I understand. I
Right on.
completely
No,
understand.
right on.
I don't have any time to play a portable game. I mean, I have plenty of downtime at one of my jobs. I won't say which one, but I don't think I could just pull out a portable
Yeah,
game
they'd
and
be
start
like,
playing it in front of my boss.
Yeah, I understand completely.
So the Game Boy came out. Well, the Game Boy Pocket, I think, is the one I had. Came out when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, I think. And at that time in my life, it was perfect. Pop in your Pokemon Blue, get on the bus and go to school. Pull it out in between. I guess you didn't have in between classes, but pull it out at recess and
Yep.
hide under a fort and play it while everyone else is being active.
Cool.
That's what it was all about for me.
Yeah.
And having Tetris on the go was also
Oh yeah,
a
Tetris.
nice bonus. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
my number 4.
And my number 4, similar to Mark's number 5, is the NES system. I got it when I was 6 years old. My uncle brought it home, much to my parents' chagrin. Obviously, he brought it with the Duck Hunt / Mario.
Good combo.
And I would like to say that's what sparked my gaming, but that's what sparked my hardcore gaming. That's when I fell in love with video games. When I got that system, I'd been playing games prior to that, but when that came out, I mean, you're talking about the greats. Mega Man. You got your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That game. Oh my god,
I loved
so
it,
fun.
but man, it was hard.
difficult, right? But
Like that sewer mission?
yeah.
The underwater part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got Zelda, and then what I personally thought was the hardest game ever was Zelda 2. So
I don't know how hard it was because I played it for about 10 minutes and then I was
dude.
like, nope, never again.
that game was terrible, and I don't ever want to play it again. But
I think we should make him play it again.
Nope, I'm not gonna do it.
Our next review. No, I'm kidding.
Anyway,
No, I wouldn't do that to you guys.
The Nintendo Entertainment System, that was my number 4. It sparked my obsession with video games pretty hardcorely.
Hardcorely.
It's a word. Look it up in the dictionary.
I believe you. Absolutely. All right. Number 3.
I think we all have this one at number 3.
All of us have the
this
same number
is the
3.
exact same.
Yep.
So, what is it? Let's unveil it. Who wants to unveil it? Mark?
PlayStation 2.
Dang, JJ beat you, Mark.
Good taste.
The PS to the 2, guys.
Yep.
Yes.
And can I just say, if somebody doesn't have this console on their list, they're not obviously a gamer. I mean, I don't have to be number one, but the PlayStation 2 was, think of the category, like the library of games.
Honestly,
Right.
I would probably put the PlayStation 1 above it, to be honest, for when it
Really?
came out and what it came. Well, here, hold on. The main reason I put this one instead of the PlayStation 1 is because it's backwards compatible and I can play both.
Right, that's what I mean, yeah.
So, I mean, this is just expanded
This
upon
system,
the other one.
think of the library of games you can play on this system.
Absolutely.
As an accountant, I'm inclined to mention that it is the best-selling system of all time with 155 million units sold.
Nice.
Thanks.
That
yeah.
alone is
Yeah, that's impressive.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely.
You've got your GTAs, your Final Fantasies, your Metal Gear Solids on there.
Yep.
You've got your Dragon Quest.
Yep.
And it's still, I mean, I'd go back and play my PS2.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it.
Kingdom Hearts started on the PS2.
Yep.
I mean, God, at this point, that's the system everyone's shooting B again.
That when it came out, it was the pinnacle of
Absolutely.
gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure. I mean, I still love it to this day.
yeah.
I felt, it was like the first console that felt like a mature piece of electronic hardware
Yeah.
that you were proud to
Definitely.
have in front of your TV.
Yep. For sure. Okay. Number 2. My number 2 is my PC. PC stands for personal computer. Yep. You know what? I think we all kind of do our own thing, especially as gamers. You build your own system. I know a lot of people don't. They'll buy custom and stuff like that, but I prefer to build it myself. A, it's cheaper, and B, there's just something about knowing you're getting the top of the line bits and pieces and
Right.
all that stuff. I don't know 100% how to put it together on my own yet. I still have Mark's brother John help me out. I'm getting there though. Like the last couple of times we did it, I kind of did a lot of it on my own, but I mean, PC, you really can't go wrong with it. It's the most powerful system out there, and I think it always will be. B, games just look gorgeous on it. It's beautiful.
Right.
And C, you can play anything on it.
Right.
You get a controller, you get an emulator, bam, you've got every system, every game.
Yep.
Do you want to do it like that? Not necessarily,
Probably not. It's probably
because
not the best experience.
I like playing my console, I like playing on my
Sure.
TV and that kind of stuff, but I mean, especially with Steam,
Oh, when Steam
Yeah.
came out, yeah.
that's man, and I would not play a first person shooter on anything else other than my PC.
Yeah.
So that's my number 2, personal computer.
Excellent choice. Brian and I both have the Super Nintendo Entertainment System at number 2, correct?
Absolutely. Go ahead and talk a little bit about it because I want to talk about it too.
Okay. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or SNES for short.
Did it come out in 91 or 93? I want to say 93.
I don't know. I didn't write it down.
I'm not sure.
It's not
I'm
on the
going to say
page, I don't know.
93, and troll, people who are, online can tell me
You
differently.
mean your brother will tell you
Well, I'm
differently?
trying to remember when it came out because it really, this system was my formative years.
Yeah.
This system came out, I think if it was 93, I was in 2nd/3rd grade. And I mean,
91.
So I was
Right.
in 1st/kindergarten when it came out. And so this was definitely my formative years because I don't think the PlayStation the PlayStation 1 came out until like 96. So from 1st grade to 6th grade, the Super Nintendo was it.
Yep.
And think about what you do in those years. You're with your friends. It's 2-player.
Well, Sega was out too. So
Yeah,
I
I had
know a lot of
I had a
people
friend
who
who had a
liked Sega.
Genesis,
Yeah.
but there were a few games on the Genesis I liked better. But I mean,
I agree.
Super Nintendo, I could sit here and rattle off about an hour games that I just loved playing with
Absolutely.
my friends and solo. I
Yeah.
mean, you got Link to the Past.
Oh, absolutely. That's probably the best game on the console.
Yeah,
Arguably.
arguably. Oh, Final Fantasy, JJ?
Final Fantasy VI.
3,
Well,
obviously.
3.
3, yeah. Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 3, which is 6.
No, for me, I didn't get this until much later, almost around the time that not around the time the PlayStation came out, probably 94.
Okay, so
when I got it.
It was already pretty mature.
I was just becoming a gamer with the NES, learning to love it. Final Fantasy being one of the best games ever. And then I went over to a friend's house and saw the Super Nintendo and saw
yeah.
Final Fantasy 3.
And you were like, what?
And me and my brother were convinced we had to have one.
Yeah, that's a
Rounded up all of our Nintendo games, got the console and the controllers, went to, it wouldn't have been GameStop. Would have been
Funko Land.
Funko
Land or Gameco.
Yeah. Gameco was big. as
Well, it depends on where you went. I'm pretty sure that was Funko Land.
Funko Land was the big. Well, like the one in the Oak Park Mall was Funko Land.
The one over on 95th was also Funko Land.
Yeah, well, that's where I bought the Super Nintendo. Was at Funko Land in the Oak Park Mall. So,
But yeah, we sold all of our stuff and got a Super Nintendo and got Final Fantasy 3/6. And it was a match made in heaven.
yeah, similar experience. My brothers and I, big Super Nintendo fans. Or I'm sorry, regular Nintendo fans. When Super Nintendo was announced, we obviously played the demo of Super Mario World. So our parents said if we raised $100, now mind you, systems were a lot more expensive back then comparatively. So if you did adjusted for inflation, the Super Nintendo was a very expensive. It was like $250 when it first was launched.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I think, like I said, I think I'm just going off of my memory, but my parents said if we could raise $100, I mean, we were almost one. You know, not one. I'm sorry. I was in first grade. I was in first.
Good memory, Brian.
I was one, and I had to raise $100.
I was in first grade, and my brothers were obviously younger than I was, and so we would just scrounge up change. I think we ended up raising like $50. My parents were like, "All right, we'll get it for you." But then we had games like Bomberman, where you could hook up that 4-player adapter. Oh my goodness,
Secret of Mana.
Yeah, Secret of Mana. There was one I wanted to mention, Final Fantasy 2, aka Final Fantasy 4. That's the one I first played, and I was like,
Me too.
in love.
First
with
RPG
it.
I ever played.
Yep.
Yep.
So, I mean, Super Nintendo, come on, guys. Just gotta love it.
Yep.
Gotta love it. All right, let's do number 1. JJ,
My number 1 is the Super Nintendo.
talk about it a little bit, please.
There you go. I mean, obviously, you can't do as much with a Super Nintendo as you can with a PC. Again, this is just my nostalgia talking.
Yeah,
and
your formative years.
I really just, I loved it. I had the best memories with it. It's what got me into RPGs. It's what got me into story-based gaming. Before that, it was just Mario and, Punch Out and Duck Hunt and stuff like that. But, I mean, Super Nintendo came around. I played Final Fantasy 2, and I was hooked. I'll never forget when I got my Super Nintendo 2 because I was super excited. It was Christmas morning. It was, I think, 92 or 93. And you remember it was one of the first games they came out with. It was Super Mario All-Stars.
Yes, absolutely.
It had
the first
Mario Brothers 1
and the Lost Levels.
And the Lost Levels.
Which is, I think that's actually Mario 2 in Japan. I know Mario 2.
Maybe.
Yeah, there was a big story about it. Read it. Look it up.
All right, then. But, I mean, that's I was opening my presents, and I get this little box, and I had no idea about any system or anything like that. But I opened the box, and it's Super Mario All-Stars. And I'm like, but I don't have a...
And then you realize...
And then my parents were like, oh, dang it, we shouldn't have let
Wrong
him
one.
open that one yet. So, I mean, I fell back, and I was like, oh, dude, I'm so excited. Blah, blah, blah. And they were like, well, you may as well open this one. They handed it to me, and there it was. And I
You're
was
like the
just,
kid in that YouTube video.
I wasn't playing the bongos on it or anything, no. But, I mean, I was excited. I mean, since then, I absolutely love it. That's one system I will never, ever sell or get rid of at all.
Yeah, that's just an absolute memory system. That was our
For sure.
formative years. So, I mean, we're all about the same age.
Yep.
So,
And if you look at my top 5 games of all time, like
exactly.
how many of them are on the Super Nintendo.
Yep.
So, that's my number 1, Super Nintendo.
Nice. Very good.
You guys have the same one, it looks like.
Yes.
Mark, go ahead.
High five.
Yeah.
First.
Mark. All right. I'll go first this time. I wrestled with it. I know JJ had personal computer at 2. The reason I put personal computer at my number 1 is because every single console I've talked about, all the way back to the NES, I had a computer also. I had a computer in my room before having a computer in your room was the norm. And we're talking back in the elementary school days. My dad worked for not Sun Microsystems. He worked for Texas Instruments back in the day, and they were big into the hardware. and he'd come home with computers.
Do you have a computer? Do you have a graphing calculator?
I had a computer.
Okay.
He'd get upgraded computers, and he'd bring his old one home, and he'd have one for his office, and then he'd have one, and I got one. I remember 5th and 6th grade. I got a new computer, and that was all the rage. But what PC gaming was to me was they had something called shareware back then.
Yes.
What shareware was, it was companies trying to get their game. There was no internet, really. I mean, there was, but it was... Yeah, and then... Yes. What just happened there is what you heard every time you connected to the internet, dial-up. And if you remember dial-up, loading...
I'm speechless right now.
Loading it...
I don't know what just happened.
Loading a JPEG on dial-up was like, okay, I'm going to look at this picture in about 5 minutes. I'll come back. So there was really no internet.
That I
back
know.
then.
Yes,
it was not good. You didn't have so you couldn't get so companies to get advertising out. CompUSA, the now defunct CompUSA, you'd walk in. My dad would have to go there all the time just due to his job. Getting he liked electronics, and I'd walk with every time he went. I'd like, can I go? Can I go? Can I go? Because in the gaming section there were these little bins with little floppy disks. Shareware, take one, take one, take one. I played Doom on shareware. I played Duke Nukem on
it would
shareware.
have 80 games or something on one
that was
disc.
the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They would just have
300 demos on the disc.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I don't think I ever played a full. I mean, my parents would never buy me a game, so I think I played so many demos.
Yep.
Over the years,
I remember those.
But I've always had a PC. It's always been there with me. Like I love my consoles, but now in my adult life, the PC is really my go-to gaming machine. Yep. I think Mark would agree that
absolutely.
My rule of thumb is if it's coming out on multiple platforms, I'm going to get it on the PC because I know my PC is more powerful than anything they can throw out there.
Yep.
So
yep.
True enough.
The personal computer to me is closest to my heart just based on, my childhood growing up. Like I had a Super Nintendo, I also had a PC. Had a regular Nintendo, also had a PC.
I feel like PC almost has an unfair advantage.
It does.
Compared to all of these other consoles.
Sure.
Because it's such a fluid thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like there was the PC. It was constantly changing.
Right, like I tear mine down every 3 years and rebuild it. So
I mean, we're including games like Journeyman Project and Imperium Galactica in the same category as Far Cry 3 and Portal 2.
Right.
That's a really unfair advantage.
Sure.
But tough luck.
Yeah, it's just the way consoles are trying to figure out how they can extend their shelf life. I mean, you've heard them say, like, when are we going to get to the point where consoles no longer need to be cycles, Because
I think we're just now getting to the point where people are starting to look at PC as a viable gaming console.
Yeah, because the prices
I think it was at the very beginning, and then
I mean, it always has been, but I don't think very many people look at it like that. I think they want something that is advertised to be dedicated to this other stuff, even though
and that's
PC
understandable.
is more powerful. Absolutely.
Sure. Some people just want to throw a box in front of their TV and know their game's going to run.
But I mean, I've had conversations with people who think that the PS3 is more powerful than what a computer can do.
That's where
that's more powerful than their
But
computer.
that's where the hang-up is, and that's why consoles
true.
are successful, because if you don't have the knowledge to build a computer or know how to, if you don't know how to use Toad expunction on a motherboard, if you don't know how to do that...
Way to throw an inside joke
Thank you.
out on the podcast.
If you don't know how to do that stuff, though, then you're not gonna warm up to a computer because, a PS3 is going to be more powerful because you're going to buy a stock Dell that has, 15 years...
Yeah.
Like a 15-year-old graphics card, 512 RAM, and then wonder why, I can't run any, so you're going to be like, PS3 is more powerful if you don't have the knowledge.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of where consoles have the advantage for the layman who's like, I want to play, this game, but it runs crappy on my Dell that I bought at Best Buy.
Mark, you have anything to add?
Not really. It's a fantastic console. I have memories from as far back as I can remember about great games like the Indiana Jones Atlantis adventure game and Math Blaster, and I have new games I still need to play on my gigantic backlist of Steam games.
Yeah, no joke.
So,
every time that sale hits,
yep,
kicks me right in the rear.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's our top 5 gaming consoles. We'll go ahead and move on then. Again, I mean, emails, we're going to skip over that because
we discussed that.
We've been out for a couple of weeks. But our bi-weekly question that I posed, this one was, what's more important for a new console, being first out of the gate with new technology or taking extra time to build a launch library? I think this is. I mean, this definitely. Yeah.
There's no right answer.
Yeah. I mean, they're both good ideas.
Obviously,
Right.
you need a
Essentially.
mixture.
You remember when
Yeah.
the PlayStation 3 came out and they're dissing on the Xbox 360 saying, oh, they're going to have a new console in 5 years, but we're going to be around for 12 or whatever they said. I don't
Right.
remember the exact number. But bragging about how they're going to have so much more longevity, comparatively speaking. And now here we are,
They're-
2013, and there's this coming out before the Xbox One.
Right.
Yeah.
So depends on how you as a consumer view the value proposition of the console, really.
Here's the way I look at it. This will kind of, maybe it'll clear it up. What's more important, new technology or a library? Well, you can't actually enjoy that new technology if there is no library. So I would almost say that you have to have a launch library before, that trumps everything. Because, hey, look, we got this awesome thing where you can do this and this, but we don't have any games that do that yet. So
But if you-
bear with us.
But I mean, look at the case of the Wii. Honestly, like if the Wii came out at the same time as the Xbox and the PlayStation, I'm sorry, but the Wii's going to get absolutely stomped. Gamers are going to look at the other two and go for those first. I don't think Nintendo really has any other option but to be out first and be like, look, we've got our new system first. That way people are going to look at it, buy it, because they're I mean, it sucks to say, but I think a lot of people look at it as, I'll get my Wii until the PlayStation comes out or until the Xbox comes out. That's what I did.
But that said, they were first out of the gate, but their cardinal sin was they don't really have new gimmicky motion control.
But that's what I'm saying is they didn't really have the any option.
True.
That's the only way they were going to sell their systems.
They're like they're underpowered systems, and they're like, well, we're going to be a generation behind. So you got to show me something that's worth going. Okay, I'll get this last generation's graphics. To balance it, an Xbox.
It's almost like a chicken and egg kind of
Xbox
situation.
One experienced this.
Yeah.
Xbox One experienced this by saying, our system is going to have motion gaming, right? Here we go, and everybody was like, show us what they don't have any library for that. That Rise game was supposed to be, and that company that made Rise. I don't know who did it, but they were like,
That's Crytek.
they kind of went, well, we're just going to go ahead and scrap that and just make it normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they have new technology, but they haven't shown any use of it. So you need to have that library of games that use that before you launch with that technology, or else why do we need to buy it?
Correct. But yeah, I mean, you still need that's what I'm saying. With
Right.
Nintendo, they made the only move that was available
Just
to them.
gotta go.
They have to have something out first.
Sure.
And they probably looked. I mean, look at what happened with iOS versus Android, where the first viable, seriously successful smartphone was the iPhone, and so app developers were jumping on that, developing apps for it because it was out first and it was sold, and consumers had it, and they knew they could sell software on that platform. And then they had all these apps when Android came out, and reviews were like, well, you shouldn't go with the Android because there's no apps on there. So then more people are being funneled into buying the iPhone instead of the Android.
Yeah.
So
I think Nintendo is in a no-win situation, JJ, and this is why. Yeah, they came out first, but they've definitely plateaued in sales. Like, who's picking up a Wii U?
Well, now they're at the point where they need games.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they backed themselves into a hole. They were like, we're out, and a lot of people picked it up, but then people were like, oh, there's really nothing to play. So then it plateaued, and you got to remember, a console generation is over a long period of time. Like, PS3 was getting stomped when it first came out.
There's going to be a lot of people returning their Wii U's to get credit for
the
new ones.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this would have been really rude and kind of terrible of them, but they should have held back Skyward Sword and made that a Wii U title.
Well, what I would have done is release the Wii U and then get like a blockbuster game that everybody loves, like a Zelda game or a
Metroid Prime,
a Metroid game, or a revolutionary Mario game,
or have Smash Brothers ready
and say okay, we're going to release that at the same time that Xbox and PS4 come out, because then people won't be selling your system. They'll be like, the Smash Brothers game.
You jerk! You realize how I have to hunt for that stuff when I edit. Now I have to bleep that out.
Well, I'll try to do this. Like, if I cuss, I'll be like, that piece of beep for you.
Well, you didn't.
That doesn't. Yeah, you didn't do. You can't go back in time there, Chief.
Oh,
so
we'll make the noise.
Thanks.
Beep.
That doesn't.
All right, Doctor Who.
Anyway,
anyways, all in all, I think it's totally situational. I think Nintendo didn't really have a choice. They had to come out with something. I think
did.
they just waited too long to get games, beyond
Ridiculously
that.
too long, yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll see how it goes with the other two. It looks like they've got some solid launch titles.
Decent, yeah.
But, only time will tell. We got to wait to see when
Yep.
the systems come out. So I think if I had to choose between the two, I would prefer just to have a launch library, to be honest.
Yeah. Right. The same with me.
I want games. I
Yeah,
do.
that's
I feel like the answer is different depending on if you're a consumer or the maker of the console.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think the business side, Nintendo made the right move. Absolutely. But now they just need games for
they
it.
could have made like a competitively spec'd console. That would have probably helped more than
That's what
being
I'm saying.
out
They
first.
decided to
Yeah.
go with a generation back, and they're paying for it because now they don't have any games. So it's like,
Well, because they're trying to be more gimmicky than anything else. They're trying to be like, well, look, we got this new controller and blah blah, blah. And it's
Yeah.
like
It's a touchscreen.
Really,
phone
the only
does
thing they
that.
can do now is have first-party new IPs instead of just rehashing Pikmin
Yeah.
and Mario.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
The only thing is like, first part they need exclusives that
Right.
are new. Because I mean, if Call of Duty comes out, which is a huge seller, if people have a choice between getting it on the Xbox or PS3, they're going to definitely pick that over the Nintendo
absolutely.
system.
And when Epic's saying they're not going to design anything for it, that's a problem.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, cool. Next episode, our bi-weekly question is going to be, what is it that hooks you into a game? Is it story, gameplay, characters, or something else? I'll be posting that on the Facebook page here in the next couple of days after this episode airs.
Yeah, let us know your
so look
opinions.
for that, and please let us know.
Yeah, we like to hear it. And then tell you you're wrong.
And
Yes.
all right. Well, with that, I think that about wraps up episode 7. Send us an email at frozennorthpodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/thefrozennorth. Hit us up on Twitter at FNPodcast. Yes, Effin Podcast. Ha ha ha. Everybody laugh at it. You know what? It was the only name available, so I had to do that. All right?
I like it.
Hey, man, effing relax.
Touche, sir. Well played. Subscribe to us and rate us on iTunes. Leave us a review. Please, in your email on iTunes, whatever, let us know what you think. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to hear. Give us suggestions for top 5s, suggestions for games you'd like to see us review. Please make it accessible, too, because, like, Suikoden 2, I would love to review, but I don't want to pay $600 for a copy. So, join us again for an episode 8, where we are going to be doing our top 5 games we wish we could finish.
Just games we just gotta finish, man.
Oh. All right, that about wraps it up. Thanks for listening. My name is JJ.
My name is Mark.
My name is Brian. That's spelled Brian.
Why?
No Y. Brian spelled with the Y are imposters, doppelgangers, aliens.
And with that, we're signing off. Thanks for listening, and keep on gaming.
This song was made available via the Creative Commons Attribution License. The song, Somewhere in the Stars, was written and produced by SoundCloud user _TWC.